Here we are in lesson 62, and I wanted to take a look at the Explanar. Now, I've used Explanar from time to time through all the teaching tutorials, but I'd like to just take us back to first principles, and this is about the way that we learn. Now, one of my favourite catchphrases is this: the more you intellectualise the golf swing, the more damage you do to the instinctive ability to do it in the first place. So the more you think about it, the more difficult it is to behave at a reflex or natural, instinctive way. Just imagine that you're an adult and you'd never learned to ride a bicycle. And if you came from your lesson and said, "Luther, I want you to teach me how to ride a bicycle," I would still have to give you training wheels or hold the saddle. Your intellect is no help to you in understanding the skill of balance. Now, just imagine you had a child or a grandchild and you said the same. You say to little Tom, he's 5 or 6 years old, "We're going up to Woburn this morning and Luther's going to teach you how to ride a bicycle." So here we are. Here's a bicycle with training wheels. But let's suppose I put a little 5-year-old lad on there with no training wheels and let him have a go. He'd go a yard and he'd fall off. I'd dust him off and put him back on. He'd fall off again. So hang on a second, young Tom, I'll go and get my video camera. And I record him falling off for about 5 minutes. Now, if you're a granddad or dad, you'd be out of the car giving me a right-hander. What are you doing? So I filmed the kid's failure in glorious Technicolor, and then I show him a picture of Bradley Wiggins or Lance Armstrong and say, if you copy that, you'll be quite good. Well, I reckon Bradley Wiggins learned to ride a bicycle the same way that you and I did, with mum or dad holding the saddle or with training wheels. So it's a painful process. If you're not allowed to learn the golf swing in an instinctive way, it damages you. Now, if we look at this bicycle with the training wheels, the little lad can wobble a few degrees. Okay? Now, I learned to ride a bicycle with this amount of wobble. Jim Furyk's dad, he put the training wheels about this far off the floor. So Jim Furyk's little lad had a very exciting time learning to ride a bicycle, but balance was perpendicular to the ground, as it is for the child, for you, for me, or for Bradley Wiggins. So, balance is perfect, but when you ride a bicycle, you wobble in and out of perfect balance. It's impossible to ride a bicycle slowly up a hill without wobbling. And in the same way, it's impossible to swing a golf club perfectly. We're not machines. So, when we go back to Explanar, all we have to do is set the Explanar at the right height, say for, in this case, a 6-iron swing. The swing plane goes through my upper sternum. So in the same way with the bicycle, I would adjust the height of the handlebars and the distance of the saddle to the pedal. We've got to make sure that Explanar is set up as it should be. So we know that whatever club you're using, the swing plane is through the upper sternum. Now, if you watch the club head, if the club head were to stay on the grey hoop of Explanar continually, then we would indeed be teaching the mythical perfect constant plane. The fact of the matter is, the club head goes out wider than the hoop and above it. It's above the plane, and then it shallows. I now come through, and while Explanar hasn't moved, the tip of the club head has shallowed. If I come through a draw spin, I'm close to the plane. If I had a fade, I'm way above the plane. So the hoop's a constant plane, but the movement that we make with the power roller is not in perfect plane. In other words, it's like riding a bicycle with a permitted amount of wobble. If you wobble too much, you fall over. So here we go. We start building the swing through the shoulders, arms and roller. So we've built the motion, nice and free. We don't have to worry. Explanar's directing us. So just like using a bicycle with training wheels, we're being guided. It's not perfect, but it's close enough for the body to understand the movement. So here we go with the 6-iron. And I'm just going to replicate the motion, just half a movement, just as I did with the roller. And it's quite remarkable how far the ball travels just off this quiet half movement. So, when we say explain as a movement, we mean it. It's not a series of positions. When you look at a book of photographs, if you try to copy the positions, that'll kill the movement. There wasn't a position in the golf swing until somebody photographed a movement. So, with the power roll and explainer, I was working on half a swing, backwards and forwards. That was my movement. I then came forward, my body remembered the feeling. And it lasts for about 7 or 8 shots, and then you go back and you do some more on the explainer. So here we go. We prepare, we have a backswing movement, and we have a through swing movement. We don't have to worry about the position. Explainer does that for you.